Welcome back. We're plugging away on Rotten Tomatoes' top 200 horror movies of all time, and coming in at number 198, released in 2007, is 1408. Now, 1408 has an 80% critical consensus on Rotten Tomatoes, but only 61% from the audience, as well as a 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb. And the synopsis for this movie goes as follows. Mike Enslin, John Cusack, is a successful author who enjoys worldwide acclaim debunking supernatural phenomena before he checks into the Dolphin Hotel, that is. Ignoring the warnings of the hotel manager, Samuel L. Jackson, he learns the meaning of real terror when he spends the night in a reputedly haunted room. So, as always, I recommend that you watch the movie before watching this review because, yes, there are spoilers ahead. And as always, I'm not going to talk about the entire movie. I'm just going to talk about the things I like and the things I dislike. And without further ado, here are my pros of this movie.
Dinner reservations, theater tickets, maybe a Knicks game, anything. Just tell me I am at your service.
Well, if I can just get the key to 1408, I can get out of your hair.
Oh, we were thinking of upgrading you to a penthouse suite.
1408, please.
Insistent, aren't you? Could you please humor me by coming to my office for a more private conversation?
This is the first time I've said this in this entire series, but I really like this shot and I like how this movie's directed. I really like this shot. It kind of shows the history of 1408 and the deaths in that room. I know Samuel L. Jackson kind of gave us a history earlier in the movie, but this kind of adds to it more visually rather than spoken word and pictures. This scene is burned into my memory for whatever reason. It's a great jump, but I just love John Cusack and how he reacts. He's about to take a sip and he completely fumbles his drink. Great stuff.
I'm afraid there was a miscommunication in the kitchen. There's going to be a 10-minute delay with your sandwich.
Why don't you just kill me?
Because all guests of this hotel enjoy free will, Mr. Enslin.
I don't know if enough credit is given where it's due, but the voice on the phone, who is Jules de Jong, I apologize if I mispronounced that, is fantastic. The right amount of sounding super professional, but also really unsettling.
Whatever you do, don't show us that face.
Ooh. Seriously, the acting in this movie is very strong. It's very underrated. I feel like people don't talk about it enough.
What's the next window? Feet across, is that? 1, 3.
Another thing I really enjoy about this movie is how fast-paced this is. There's always something kind of going on. And I like how John Cusack is being smart about things. He's trying to figure out ways to escape this room. And once he's done one thing to try to escape, he's immediately trying another. There's not really a lot of middle filler in this movie, which is actually really good.
Help! Help!
Where'd you go?
I gotta get some cigarettes. You want something? Jesus!
This movie, just like most movies, comes back to everything that it introduces earlier in the movie, such as the woman and the baby in the main lobby of the hotel. Now it really messes with you because it switches it to his ex-wife and Katie, and man, just fantastic.
I got you right here, sweetie. Everything's fine. Everything's so fine.
Whew. This movie is just an emotional roller coaster. Once it gets into it, this movie just messes with Mike's emotions. And in my opinion, there's nothing more evil that someone or something can do than mess with somebody's emotions, especially the way it's doing it with Mike. I swear, the first time I watched this movie, I was actually a little bit tired after because it's like, whoa, I feel like I've been through so much along with Mike. This fucking sucks. And then for it to all just reset. We've went through everything that Mike has gone through with him, and now it just begins again.
Are you ready to check out, Mr. Enslin?
No. Not your way.
I understand. understand. By the way, Mr. Enslin, your wife just called. She'll be here in 5 minutes and we'll send her straight up.
She's not involved. You can't have her.
I really like the end here, how he's talking to the room, because he's just emotionless and he's had enough and he's done with it.
You're okay, buddy.
I love you, Daddy.
You're not real. You're not Katie.
Help. Daddy, don't you love me anymore?
Of course I do, sweetheart.
I wish we could stay together. You, me, and Mommy.
We can. I got you right here.
I really like this ending, and I'm very happy that he survives. There are multiple endings to this movie, some which he doesn't survive. Honestly, a really good ending to a really good film. And now, as always, on to my qualms with this movie. So who sent this postcard? Because if Olin sent the postcard, that's just idiotic of him, because now he's just basically inviting Mike to come to this room. Now, I know the postcard says do not enter this room, but you tell anybody who does something, especially like this, for a living to not do something, they're probably going to do it. Now, the other theory is that the hotel sent it, which I accept that. That'd be kind of cool, but it's unconfirmed, so I have to qualm it. And my next question is, how famous is the Dolphin Hotel that Mike Enslin, who has been doing this paranormal book stuff for a very long time, has never even heard of it? Mike can find every little Airbnb and bed and breakfast on the side of the road that has one ghost in it that probably isn't very well known. Mike is able to dig up something like 22 deaths in the hotel, and that alone should be enough to make that hotel infamous. If these other places have 1, 2, or 3 deaths at their place or are reportedly haunted by a ghost, yet they're famous enough that Mike has heard of them, there's no way that he hasn't heard of the Dolphin.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you with your bag?
Who approaches people like this?
No, thank you. I don't smoke. Oh, that's
So Mike keeps a smoke behind his ear, but how often does he change it? Now, I'm not a smoker, but those get stale, especially after being left out for so long, do they not?
home.
The long road home, yes. I rather thought the father was a bastard.
I wish we touched on this a little more. The father already, 20 minutes into the movie, has been brought up twice, specifically from this one story that Mike Enslin wrote. Now, it's obvious foreshadowing that it's his relationship with his own father, even though he lied earlier and said it wasn't. And the hotel does taunt him later with his father being in the bathroom, but I really wish the room would have had the father say a little more to really come across as a bastard, as Olin would say.
A few years ago, a young maid from El Salvador found herself locked in the bathroom. She was only there for a few moments, but when we pulled her out,
She's dead.
no, blind. She'd taken a pair of scissors and gouged her eyes out.
Okay, but why would a maid have scissors on her? Are you just not there to clean? What do you need scissors for? What are you cutting? Now, with how haunted this room is, I'm surprised they let anyone in even the adjacent rooms to 1408. Olin won't even get out of the elevator to approach 1408 unless it's that time to change the sheets. But yet you guys have no problem letting guests walk by it every day and stay in the rooms next to it. As much as I said I enjoy this, unfortunately, the stains would probably be gone off of those blankets because there's no way that over the 100 years that this hotel room has been around that they haven't changed a blanket out of it. Now, this is one of the cool ideas for an escape that Mike Enslin comes up with, is he tries to walk along the ledge to get to the window of the next room. Now, we know he's hallucinating because he takes enough steps and he should be there, but there's no other windows on the wall. Wouldn't he physically still be in front of that window? If there was someone staying in the adjacent room to 1408, wouldn't they see Mike Enslin in front of the window and he's just hallucinating that the window isn't there? So therefore, Mike should still physically be able to get in front of that window, and even though he can't see it, maybe someone else could open the window and pull him in? Would that free him from the room? is the room trying to close the window on him and leave him outside? I understand it's probably so that he would get so exhausted or so tired or whatever it may be and he would eventually just fall. But the room demonstrates that it operates on free will, so it basically wants to drive its tenants insane so that they choose to kill themselves. I just think that the window closing is an unnecessary piece of tension that this movie doesn't need, especially in this scene.
I got a knife!
Alright, we've already determined that the room's haunted and the room's evil or whatever is going on, and Mike Enslin believes this at this point, right? So what is yelling that you have a knife going to do about anything?
Katie was there. And then I talked to her like 2 days ago. Talked to her, saw her, touched her.
When did you talk or touch Katie? Because everything we've seen up until this point is just home movies and reminiscing. Now, later in the movie, you talk to her and you touch her, so is this just a bad little edit?
Perfect.
I'm actually glad you showed me who this was because I actually had no idea who that was. This is now the third time I've heard this lame open source scream in this movie that has been recycled so many times, and I feel 1408 is just, it's better than that.
Get out onto the street!
That dude's a dick. So overall, I really liked 1408. I always have, and I continue to do so. As I said sort of earlier, I think this movie builds very well, and then when it resets the room, man, that's just like a kick in the nuts. I really like Mike Enslin. I really like his relationship with his ex-wife and his daughter and all those things. I don't know, I think it's done very well. So overall, I don't think I'd award 1408 10 skulls, but it definitely goes on my like list. Now, do you agree? Do you disagree? Did I miss anything? I know this is a supernatural horror movie, so there's probably a million things that I did miss, so please let me know down below. And as always, this is just my opinion, so thanks for watching.